Hey guys, Cindy over paper.old.new. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. We're getting into summer. By the time you see this, actually, summer break will probably have already started. I wanted to come on with you because I have been reviewing. I said I was going to do this a while back, and I know I have a list a mile long, and I'm going to have to write it all down in a notebook so I can go through and check off all the things I want to start and do and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things I do remember saying was I was going to go back because we all make differently and we all like different things. And I went through and did Tina's mass makes. She does 100 and then she starts over and repeats and does them again, coming up with new ideas and showing new ways to decorate and all this kind of stuff. So I went through and did them in 100 days about a year ago, a little less than a year ago. And I wanted to go through like every 10 videos. So this is going to be a series of about 10 videos where I review and I say, okay, these are the ones I liked. This is what I would use. This is what I probably wouldn't make again. Not that it's like any of these things are bad. Just me, myself, I would not use these things. And I think that's okay. I think everybody is different. And I think there are things that you like that I don't, things that I like that you don't. And I think that's why creativity is amazing because it lets us be or do the things that we like to do. So the first 10 that we did were we're going to go through days 1 through 10. And I have examples over here. Like the first one was coin envelopes. And she makes her coin envelopes there's no flap. And you do the whole envelope thing where you make a flap and all that. The ones that as far as coin envelopes are concerned, I don't dislike them. I would not mass make these to have bases. If I wanted a coin envelope for something, I would probably use the scraps of whatever project I'm working on to make these and use them on a page. Okay. And I even went so far as to make a card out of matching paper that would fit in this particular coin envelope. So this one is like ready to put in something. Card and all, it just needs decorating. Okay. So these are her coin envelopes and she punches the notch in the top. And yeah, so we did these. These are day 1 or week 1 for her mass makes. And like I said, this is not something I would mass make. This is something that I would make to a project because I wouldn't use these in every project that I do. So that was the first week. And that's my thing on those. I like them, but I probably wouldn't make them in volume. Okay. The other one is flip outs. These are, this is the base of an envelope. Or it can be put into a journal and used as journaling space and it folds in and out and you just decorate it. And I think these make great interactive pieces. I also think that this would be something that I would use the paper in the project that I'm using. If you guys have been watching my kitten videos, my kitten journal videos for those little golden books, I have the last one here getting glued into its well, not very well, I might add. Anyway, it's being glued into its cover, and I would use the scraps to make a fold out on a page if I was going to do this. So this, again, is not something I would mass make because these take no time. So I don't, and I would make it out of the pages that I'm using. The other thing that she did was matchbooks. Matchbooks, I wouldn't mind mass making, just because you could sit down with all of your scraps of like note paper and writing paper and journaling paper where you've cut it to fit in a booklet or you've cut it to fit in a journal, and you have all these scraps. Because my favorite way to use the matchbooks is to put pads in them. Okay, so I put a flippy pad in this one, and this is my favorite way to use them. I don't know what I would use them for otherwise. I guess you could just stick it in the book and tuck little things in it and then have journaling space, which is perfectly fine as well. I would mass make these out of strip scraps. that I had and sit down and make matchbooks and flippy pads to go in them. So this is a mass make project that I would do. I would do that. Policy envelopes. Policy envelopes are a tough one for me. I have just recently discovered that policy envelopes are not something that I'm going to put in a lot of journals unless they're on the very front page, and the cover of the journal is what is bumping up against there. Because I put one of these sideways in each of the kitten journals, and the brads and the 3D portion of this, when you put pressure on the book and you close it up and everything, it puts indentations in like the next 2 or 3 pages. And with that surface there, it's going to be hard to write on any journaling pages that are above it. So I don't know that I would use these particularly in a journal. I might use these, if I was going to use it, I would use it as a clip-in, and I would probably only make it out of the scraps of the project I was working on if I had like little spare stickers and things from the project that I wanted to give with the journal, and then I would clip it into the journal so that you could remove it. So I would not put these in a journal, and I would not mass make these. These would be something that I would use strictly for like specific projects. Now, as a side note, I did want to say I watched Stephanie over at Coffee Paper Scissors make these, and I love them. This is like an altered policy envelope. So you make the envelope with the flap, right? Just like this. You have the little flap here, and you've made an envelope. Okay. You could put a brad on here. Especially the way Tina has done it, where she does the 2 circles and you put the string between the circles. So I punched a circle and then I punched another circle, and you glue it to the top. It doesn't poke through, which I think is here. I'll show you what I mean. It doesn't go, the brad does not poke through the paper. So see, there's no brad there. And it allows you to put it on envelopes because you don't poke through the envelope. Okay, so with this one, you could put a policy closure on here, but I think these are cute. She makes this little tuck spot. So you have this little tuck spot on here, and it's an up tuck there if you want it to be, and then it's a little envelope. I think these are adorable. And she even made the suggestion that these pieces that you use on the outside, you could put some stitching on, and it would be really cute. And this one I lined, because this is thin paper. So I lined this one, and I lined it with the paper I used here. And I think these turn out really cute. And if you didn't put any policies on them, they would make a cute little tuck or addition to one of those layered pockets that I like to make, or, whatever. So these I really like. I don't know if I would mass make them. That they're kind of a question mark as to whether or not I would have a bunch of these. Right now I have several of them, but they're a question mark as to whether or not I would mass make them. This goes here in the not mass make. This is going to go in the mass make pile for now. Okay, the next thing we did, so what are we up to? Sorry, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Day 5 was, I'm sorry if you can hear that vacuum cleaner in the background. My daughter, who is right behind this wall over here, if you look, she never cleans her room. And for some reason today, we're getting ready to go out for to get our hair done and all this kind of stuff. Her dad's away this weekend, and we're just having kind of a little bit of a time. But she decided she was going to clean her room, so she's running a vacuum in there. I told her I was going to try and film a video, so I apologize if you can hear a vacuum, and if you can't, just don't worry about it. These pockets. Okay, what I like about these pockets, I don't know that I would mass make them, but this may be how I start making pockets for the future. And that is, make the piece that you want to be the pocket a little bigger than you need it to be, and either fold it around its backing like we did here. So these were simple pockets with lots of space, so you get all the space from side to side. Okay, not only that, when you do this, these pockets tend to not, so like when I put this down on a page, these pockets have a little bit of buckle. And I'm not saying that that's great, but a little bit of buckle is good because it's not tight to the page and you're not struggling to get something in there. That's something I've noticed about pockets that I put down flat. Sometimes they get so flat that they're tight and it's hard to slide something in and out. And with wear, that might go away, but I've decided that I'm probably going to start making all my pockets a little bigger than I want them to be, and I'm either going to glue them to the back, to their backing like this, or I'm going to just gusset them and have them glued down to the page with these gussets in them, so that they have a little bit of give for you to slide stuff in and out of easily. I think I would prefer that. So that's these. I don't know that I would mass make these. Again, this is a perfect way to use scraps that you have from a journal project that you're making. So unless I was running out of scraps or I didn't have big enough scraps, I would probably just use my scraps for my projects. These are not, they're very simple to make. And so I think it would be easy to just grab scraps and throw these together. I do like them, though. They are a project that I would use again. So, like, some of the stuff I don't know that I would use again. Some of the stuff I just wouldn't mass make it. And some of the stuff I love and I would absolutely mass make and have more versions of. For example, these side pockets. Now, the week that we're in here is week 6. And if you go into her week 6, there's not an extra layer in the pocket. See how that's got 3? It's got a tuck here and a tuck here. So it's got 1, 2, 3 layers of paper. The way she first shows you how to make these side loading pockets does not have the layer in them. I think it's further in to her mass makes, but I'm not positive. So, as we go down the road, I like them both ways. So if you wanted a simple pocket that you just wanted one tuck on the top and one tuck on the bottom, that's what we're going to do. And we're actually going to make some of those today. So that one we're going to make today. This is a little booklet. This was day 7. These are just booklets with side pockets. I'm starting to like the idea of putting paper in these, making mini journals and tucking them into pockets and journals. So I would make this again. I don't know that I would put the side pockets on them. I mean, maybe. I feel like you put pockets in your journals and you've got all those pockets to fill with ephemera. I feel like this little removable journal doesn't need its own pockets. But I would make these to use in journals. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't necessarily not mass make those. So I'll put it in the mass make pile for now. Okay. These are hidden paperclip pockets. This was week 8. Okay, so it's a pocket that you can clip in. And they're real simple to make. I mean, you just fold a piece of paper. Basically, you fold one side of the piece of paper to give you the gusset, and then the other side you fold it into thirds. So fold it into itself on thirds. And then one of the flaps is used to cover up the paper clip, right? So if you look down in there, you've got your paper and then on the outside you've got your paper. So anyway, if you want to see how to make these, they're really simple. If you want to see how to make these, let me know in the comments and I'll go through and make a couple. I would use these, but again, this would be a project specific make. I would not, I'm more and more leaning into project specific makes. That's just how I journal. Not to mention the fact I don't have to worry about it not fitting. So like this is, how tall did I make this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. I made this a full-size piece of paper, like copy paper. So, I mean, technically, if you're using copy paper as your pages, this will fit on a page. So that's great. But sometimes I'm making little golden book journals, which I love to make. I might make bigger journals. I might make smaller journals. So when I say that I like to make things that go in my journal, that's another one of the reasons, is because it's not only the matching thing. It's not only the using up the scraps that I use to make the journal. It's also a size thing for the pages. But anyway, so we're going to make some of those. And then this was another favorite. Okay, these are basically just slant pocket flip outs. So this would get glued down, but I need to treat this first because you can see it here. So this would be a pocket, and then you would open it up and you could put pages in here, or you could put just panels, writing panels. And you see this opens backwards. So either if you were going to make it a journal, maybe you fold it the other way, if that makes sense. I don't know. Because this one, I think, oh no, this one opens this way. Okay, so you can do it with your flaps opening the other way. And then you, like I said, again, you just put it here and then you cover this and you have a little pocket on the front, and you could make it a little one of those little pocket journals that you tuck down in the book. So you could do that with these. And we're going to make some of these. This was another one of my favorites. I like these. And because I'm getting more into the idea of having little journals to tuck into the books, because a lot of the paper I put in the journal itself is decorative. So, yeah, I would probably mass make those out of paper scraps and all kinds of stuff, just to have like little booklets to stuff in pockets. Okay, this is one I probably wouldn't make again. I'm learning that I don't necessarily like this style pocket. It looks there's something about it on a page for me. Maybe if I made it a flip, like if I put journaling paper back here and I stuck a hinge on it, and I made it a flip so that it's its own little thing in the book, maybe. I don't like it on its own glued down. So I would have to have a reason to have this in the book as something. But basically all this was an envelope. You glue it shut and then you fold up the bottom to make a pocket and you decorate the outside. I mean, you can do that with a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be an envelope. If you do use an envelope to do it, you could cut the side open and have a side pocket for the top of the envelope. I think I do make these where you glue the envelope shut and then you cut it open along its side. You fold it up and you've got a pocket here. You've got a small side pocket on the front of here, and then you've got a pocket in the back or a pocket in the top. So, I mean, it's versatile because the middle is open. So, I mean, if I had a specific place to use one of these and I liked the idea of putting one of these in a journal, I would make it, but I would probably hinge it just because I don't like just that rectangle down on the page like that. I don't know why. I'm not a fan. Even in the corner as a tuck, I mean, I like tucks, so every once in a while that would be okay, but this is probably not one that I would make a lot. Okay. Having said all that and gone through all of our things, I'm going to go through and I'm going to make a couple of these. So this was a side tuck pocket, and we're going to make two. I've cut two pieces of paper down to a height that I like. I think I got it down to, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7.5. Okay. Depending on the journal you put this in, that might be too short, but no, I don't know. We'll see. So basically all you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to fold. We're reinforcing sides. So you're going to fold in here. Okay. And you're going to fold in further here. Okay. All right. So we did that. And on this one, I'm going to do it the other way. I guess all you have to do is turn it upside down. But so we're going to fold in here. This is non-directional paper is the only reason I said, you could just turn it the other way. And then you're going to fold in here. Now I eyeball this. I just want this to be wider than that. I'm not doing any measuring. I'm just making one wider than the other. And we're going to do this one this way. Okay. So we've got them folded, and you are going to want to glue those down. So basically I'm hoping it's going to be 10 parts. So I'll go through the hundreds in groups of 10, or the 100 days in groups of 10. And we'll look at the ones that we like. Well, I'll look at the ones I like, and I'll, show you or tell you what I would do with them. I don't know how much of that information is going to be interesting to you. This is kind of part of my cleaning out my room because I want to clean out my room of any kinds of papers that are sitting around. I mean, this is using up stash. I didn't go out and buy anything to do this, I guess is my point. Okay, so we're going to put that down. And we're going to glue this one down. And then we'll glue the other two edges, and hopefully we'll get this made. And then you can see over here I've got some scrapbook paper. We're going to do some of the slanty pockets, which I think will be fun. It is going to create scraps. So the scraps you could then use to make some of these other projects. Okay, so we do like that. Let's fold that down. A little burnish. And we have that one. Okay. And this is just a review of the projects I like and projects that I don't mind having, you know, some of sitting to make something out of. Okay, move that down. Obviously, until you decorate it, the whole pocket can be turned, like this one's decorated, so this has to go this way. Before I decorate, well, the paper's directional too, but before I decorate it, I can make it go either way. So it doesn't really matter about this that I said, but just to kind of give you an idea that, you know, these can go on either side of your paper, especially if you use, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but especially if you use non-directional paper. For a lot of these projects, non-directional paper is a good base. I mean, it's not necessary for everything, but it's a good base because then you don't have to worry about stuff. Okay, now the next thing you do is you just fold this over so that you have space from here to here. Now, you might say, well, that opening looks really like I can't see it. You can ink it. My problem with inking them, I'm going to fold this, but I'm not going to glue it. That's the other thing that I like to do. If I am going to mass make ephemera, I like to make it as basic as possible. So I have folded the edges in. That kind of tells me what this project is, and I will fold it here. And then I have a pocket here and I have a pocket here. I am not going to glue this down. You would obviously glue it here and stick it down, right? Almost like an envelope without a flap. The reason I'm not going to glue it, and this is just something that I have learned that I like, if you haven't thought about it or you're not sure, you know, you could consider this. I like any mass-made ephemera to be as absolutely basic as possible. And the reason for that is if I decide to put this in a journal where I've done a lot of inking, then I might need to ink this. And if I glue it down, it's harder to ink. It's not impossible, but it's harder. And I feel like decorating it also can mess up where you're able to put it. So I like to make it as basic as possible. So this is a side loading pocket, and I will leave it in my pocket box like that. All right. And then the same thing goes for this one. You would fold it over. And again, because it's non-directional, I can turn it that way or I can make it open this way. And you've got a pocket here and a pocket here. Okay. And, you know, so I really like that. That's one of the projects that I like that I would definitely reuse, that I wouldn't mind having some of these bases already made, that I could look at it and go, oh, does that paper match any of the projects I'm working on? I might throw one of those in here. So that's one that I would mass make. The others take a little long, and I'm not wanting this video to get out of hand, which is the reason I'm not mass making some of the other ones that I like. If you want me to go through and make any of these, just let me know, and I will shoot a video. I think my daughter is vacuuming again. Okay, the slant pockets. First of all, we are going to cut these pieces of paper down. So I am going to cut this one. We're going to have to leave soon. I am cutting this close. I might have to make this 2 parts and splice it together. I know, not that you really care, but it doesn't really matter how tall you make them. I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. I am going to go with 8.5 on this one. We'll say this. The taller you make it, for something that is relatively, that's cuttable, I guess, for lack of a better term. For something that's cuttable, the larger you make it, the more projects you can use it in, obviously, because if you need to use it in something that's smaller than 8.5, you cut it off. These are easy to cut off. As you notice with these, I hadn't glued them down. A couple reasons. This needs treating, right? And then I would glue the pocket down. And then I haven't done anything with this because I haven't decided, or I don't know what project's going to go in. I think I did just put this in a little golden book pack. So I don't know. I might go find it and see if I can put it in there. Okay, so basically the reason I chose this, though, is because it's double-sided paper. And they are relatively heavy. I mean, they're not, it's lightweight cardstock, so I don't have to worry about it being, a problem in that respect. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to fold it into thirds. So how do I do this? Well, you can eyeball it and then trim it, which is generally what I end up doing. Just put it together like this and kind of get it to where, I usually get it to where the inside piece touches and this piece is kind of even. Okay, and then I just crease it. So once I get it to that point, I try and line the ends up and then I just crease it. And hopefully that gives me thirds. Okay. Now, if you have any issue, you can always, like fix your folds. I haven't burnished it, so it should fix okay. Okay, so I fix that fold. And then I come over here and I fix this fold. Okay, now, the thing I want to do, I want to make sure that I have this going the way I want it to. I think I want it to open so that you see the stars. Okay. And then on this side, well, I'm going to turn it that way because I want it to open I'm going to turn it this way because I want it to open like a booklet. Okay. Now, I will say this, I'm wider over here and I can't trim this because it's a fold. So I'm probably going to pull it. The other option you have is scoring, or if you're really good at folding at a specific spot, you can do that. Okay, so now I folded, that's a little more even, and I can trim this side. So let's trim this off. Okay, and I said I wanted it to open like a booklet, so I want this like this, right? And it's got a little bit of a spine only because I folded it twice. So it's got a little bit of a spine on it. Anyway, and then you're going to take this and you're going to fold this piece down to your crease, but not in the way of your crease. So if you can't see your crease, tilt your page a little bit and then just fold that down. And then you have your pocket on the outside. Okay. And mine happens to have, those words on it, which is fine with me. This was not paper that I think I was ever going to use for anything, which is why I was kind of like, when I was looking through my stash for double-sided paper to use for this, I grabbed it. I was like, yeah, I could use it for this. Okay, so now, double-sided paper means that you don't have to worry about this. Although, if you fold that, and I'm looking at that, and I have no complete Halloween words, and if I don't like that, I can still cover it. I mean, there's nothing that says I can't put something over that. Okay. But double-sided paper makes this easy because the pocket's already decorated. Okay, and then I have a little booklet. I can sew some paper in there or staple some paper in there, and I have a little booklet for a pocket. When I was talking about cutting it down, if you do not glue it yet, I need to get that spine in there because that spine is pulling it back, so it's too short. If you do not glue it yet, you can always cut this shorter. So if I needed it to fit in a 7-inch book, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I would just cut it off right there, right? Now, if you like the ratio of this, then you would have to make it with a smaller piece of paper. That would be my only caveat. Okay, and then we would glue this piece down. I don't know if I like this, is the only reason I'm not gluing this one. And the next one I'm going to show you how I would do what I was explaining to you before about, let me something real quick. This opens like this. Okay. What I was explaining to you before about, okay, so we're going to cut this off. I'm thinking, sorry, grid lines. I'm going to cut it off this way. I think this is right. I want it to be 8.5 inches tall. My goodness. You're still vacuuming in there. I guess she's just going to vacuum till I come get her. This is not straight. I have not cut this paper. This came out of the pad like this. I feel like there was some crookedness at the cutting factory. Okay, so we want 8.5. I'm going to cut it right there. I adjusted that's my dog. She's sitting outside my room and my door's closed. She can't get in here, so she's freaking out. Okay. Now this time, I kind of want the grid paper because you could write on that. It would make really cool lined paper. So I kind of want the grid to be my thing. All right. So basically what I am going to do. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so I noticed the time when I stopped to deal with my daughter and everything. We had to go to our hair appointment, so it's been a few hours. Even though for you it was just a second ago, whatever. So what I'm going to do is we're going to fold this. We got it cut. Here's the piece we cut off a minute ago. I know you don't really need to see this because for you it just happened. So what I was going to show you is the other way I used to fold. If I want to fold specific measurements, so I use my grid. So if you don't have one of these mats, then I suppose you could lay a ruler here and hope that it doesn't move. But basically what I do is I take this and I say, okay, I'm going to fold 4 inches. Which means 4 over top of 4 is going to be 8 inches. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to go, okay, I want it to go 4 would be to right there. That's going to be a 4-inch fold. So I'm going to fold it as straight as I can right to that 4-inch line. And I'm going to go ahead and burnish that one. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to just fold it even with the side. Now, if I fold this even, if I fold this even and it doesn't meet right there, because this is too long now, then I can always trim it. It's just, you can't trim the fold, so yeah. All right, now what I want, now your question is, what do you, I want this inside writing space to be this paper. Okay, because I think this would make good writing space. I don't have to do anything to it, maybe decorate it a little bit, but I don't have to really do anything to it. which means my front outside is going to look like this. So you have to decide how you want to handle that as far as whether or not you want this. Because I like the dots, but I'm going to end up closing them in. So one of my thoughts was, I mean, you can do this and put your dots on the outside, make this a little up tuck. I'm probably going to go ahead and stick with this. And then if I'm really, really upset about the fact that I don't have the dots on the front cover, which I'm not, I'm just saying okay, so that's what it's going to look like, right? And it'll open like this, and I've got writing space. If I wanted to, remember, you cut off a strip. You can use this to decorate your front, however you want to do that. Maybe you put a pocket on the bottom. I turn it like that. I mean, they are circles, so maybe I put a pocket on the bottom like that, and then you have a pocket here and a pocket here, and then your book. Or maybe I tear a piece and make a little cover topper thing to go on my little notebook. So don't forget to use your piece. Now, keeping that in mind, I wanted to do something with well, I don't know. Let me see. All right, so now we have this one. If you look at this one, I don't know. I mean, I like black and pink together. I just don't know if I like. Okay, what I need to do is find out whether or not this is. Actually, I don't even need to know this. But I'll just cut it off there. This is semi non-directional. The plants kind of have a direction to me, although you could argue not really. So I'm going to cut this where we normally cut it. Although if you wanted to, what you could do is cut it to 4 inches. Make this 8 inches. Cut a 4-inch piece off up here. Now mine's a little more than 4 inches because it's got that extra dotted line, and I will deal with that if I need to. But basically, I'm going to cut 4 inches off. I'm going to cut it down to 8 inches instead of 8.5, and I'll show you why in just a second. Okay, and then we do our folding. So I'm going to take this, and this is basically a zigzag fold, right, guys? I mean, you're folding 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm folding to right here. You're basically folding this way and then turning around and folding the other way. So it's like an accordion fold, just big. Okay. Now, the reason I made the comment about cutting this to 4 inches is because now if I do this, if my paper was single-sided, and I do my little fold here, if this is 4 inches, I can take what I cut off and stick it in here. I mean, mine's going to hang out because it's 4 1/4 because of that little strip. But you could stick it in here, and then when you close this over, this is covered. If you don't cut it to 4 inches like one of these, it's not wide enough either way. Okay? See, there's a little bit peeking out there, or you're missing some here or there. So it isn't wide enough if you cut your... sorry, I know I just dropped that sentence. If you cut it to 8.5, you don't get a wide enough strip to do this. But there we have that one. I think I would keep it like this. I don't really have much of a choice because I already folded that. I was going to see whether or not... Well, that's not true because I can always... You can always reverse your folds. If you made a boo-boo like I just did, which it wasn't really a boo-boo, but... You can always reverse all your folds before you glue. As long as you haven't glued yet, it's always a possibility. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe this, And then if I open it up here, I can put paper in here to be written on. Oh, of course, that's going to open this way, which is fine, but okay, so that's another one. All right, I want to do one more, and the only reason I want to do this one is because I want to see. I know that was very vague, wasn't it? I want to see if I can make this writing surface borders. Okay, so I'm going to cut off the 4 inches. I don't need to cut 4 inches off of this one. We're going to do the 8.5 because I don't need it. I'm not covering. Okay, and I'm going to. Oh, I must have a dotted line on this one too. I do. All right, well, I'm not doing that math. Okay. All right, so we're doing to 4 right there. Sorry. So yeah, my daughter and I had our appointment. We go to the same lady all the time to get our hair done. And then we're going to fold this over like this. Been going through it for a couple of years now. And she's great. She has a little 1-room spot in her house. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to work, but I figured I'd try. All right, so I got to figure out how I want to do this now. What if I do this way so that this opens like this? Oh, but that leaves me a white top. Interestingly enough, I wasn't expecting that to happen. So what if I open it with this? Then it's kind of weird. I mean, I guess you could decorate it to make it not weird, and this is all good writing space. It's just the way it cut off of there. It's kind of, and I'm not sure I like this as a front, but I'm going to fold it down and we're going to see how it looks. I'm always, because it's scrapbook paper, so they're expecting you to use this as a 12 by 12, right? I'm not big into these big open frame. Even as a scrapbooker, I wouldn't use that for anything. So I don't know. I've just never really liked those. But anyway, so now I've got scraps, and they can be used to decorate up your slant pockets. But basically, now what I would do, let's glue one together. And then I'm going to let you go with the idea that this is what I want to do now. We're going to go through, it should be 10 videos long. I'm going to go through and kind of re-look at my my run through of Tina's mass makes, and I'm going to select the ones that I really like, the ones that I would mass make, the ones that I would make like as needed, and then we'll pick a couple, or I'll pick a couple that are, relatively simple. And we'll kind of do a refresher with a few of them. And if I have come up with anything, new, then I'll try to share that with you. And that way, it's not exactly the same project and you're getting something new out of it. And yeah, it'll just be like a little 10 video series of going through these and deciding on, what I it's an honesty thing too, because it's what will I honestly use of all these things that I've made. What will I honestly use that won't sit in a box and never get looked at again and never even be considered to put in one of my journals? I mean, I want to be able to honestly say, yes, I will use that again, or no, I'm not going to use that again. I shouldn't make this. Anyway, okay, so here's the pocket. Okay. And you have your pocket on the front, and then you have your writing space here. And then obviously with this one, it's going to need decorating because I'm going to have to do something about just leaving that like that. I won't do. I mean, maybe some of you would, but that's just not me. So, and of course, this being the front of the little booklet, it's obviously going to need decorating. So I will do all of that. But I just wanted to let you know. So this was the first 10 days of my 100-day challenge with Tina's Mass Makes, and a look into what I would do and what I would use, what I wouldn't use, and what I would probably just make as I go if I needed it. And I hope I hope this gives you some ideas and thoughts about the kinds of ephemera that you like to make and what especially if you're just getting started, things that you think you might use or won't use. I'm learning, what materials are too bulky. Like this is lightweight cardstock. I'm okay with this. I learned in my quest for structure that wouldn't fall apart, because I was paranoid about stuff falling apart or tearing or whatever, that sometimes too heavy is just that, too heavy, and it makes it bulky and untenable and unusable. So hopefully this is helping you out, and I will be back with you again, and we'll do 11 through 20, and I will talk to you later. God bless you guys for being here, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.